Everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with making a art deck using some of the new release from Dina Wakley. So I'm starting off with two A4 pieces of paper and I am going all out with my rainbow. So those people who do follow Dina Wakley, she's just released in the last release an art deck of 50 cards with lots of different inspiring words, a word on each, but different themes. One of the themes is rainbow. So I really love that. I want to have a go. This is one of my favourite techniques to do, inspired by the lovely Claire Stead, who is very good at making beautiful rainbows. So the rainbow colours I'm using in this one are raspberry, tangelo, mustard, malachite and sapphire. The one thing I was finding as I was doing this, I tried to get it over the entire thing, it's really tempting to turn your brush around. If you've got a painted stripe, obviously you need to keep the stripe going in the same way. So just be aware of that as you are going. It looks really messy at the moment, but just have faith that it will come together okay. This is just a background, so there's nothing too much to worry about. Just to kind of not calm it down, but to bring it all together, I suppose, I am using the new Mushy Dots stencil with some white gesso and just putting that all over the top. So what this will do is sort of break up the background a little bit. You can sort of see the comparison when I lift it off. You can still see the rainbow really clearly, but you've just got something else breaking it up, so you don't have that solid block of colour anymore. And you can use any stencil to do this. I really love dots, so that's what I tend to go to most times in my artwork. So I'm doing this on both pages, and by doing two A4 pages, this will give me 8 cards. So it's just a nice sized like mini deck to create. The cards I'm going to be making are bigger than ACT cards, so they're going to be almost 6 by 6, which is again just a nice big size. You can just do a little bit more with them than on the ATCs, or have bigger focal points on it. Next, I'm going in and putting some stamping in the background. I'm using the new Sticks and Branches stamps, and I'm using the new Dylusions archival inks. So I really love using coloured inks when I'm doing background pieces, because I can kind of it's that repetition of colour. I can match up colours or highlight things really easily, and you can kind of see the image and you can kind of see it blending into the background. The other thing I'm really careful about doing is I want consistency amongst my backgrounds. So whatever I do on one page, I'm doing on the other page. So I'm sort of just taking in turns a little bit what colours I'm going to do where. Again, going in with a different one. So you can see all these images are really useful. You could use them as borders, you can use them, put birds on them or whatever, but sort of really handy little images to use and add to your collection. Because I was having fun and I had new inks to swatch, I was just putting stamps on everything basically. So, and once I'd finished, I had dried it off. So the archival inks, because they're water-based, they dry permanently, but they just take a little bit longer to dry. So once I had done that, then I'm just cutting down my pages to make sure that I've got all the right size. Now, I'm not great at measuring. I was trying to use the measurements on the cutter. I didn't quite get it right in some spaces, so these ones are probably slightly smaller than they needed to be, but that's okay. As long as your deck, if you're keeping them together, are all the same size, it really doesn't matter what size you end up with. And this is a project that you could do the backgrounds and come back to it later on. So you don't have to, do it all in once. I tend to, because, this is my mental health reset. So I like to just keep working. But I know people who sort of make up a whole heap of backgrounds, have them sitting there, and then one day they'll come in and sort of, they've got 10 spare minutes, they'll go in and create a little art deck or ACT or something. So these are the masked figures from Dina's release last time. So I'm using both the stencil and the mask on these. I thought they were nice big images that would fill up my page. And I wanted to do two mini sets within them, if that makes sense. So I use the masks and stencils on one, and then I'm going to use transparencies on the other. I'm also going in with the other cards that I've got and just adding a little bit of black onto them. So sort of that balance of black and white is a little bit important. It just gives a pop of colour. Now you can do that with stenciling, you can do that with stamping over the top. I could have stamped those leaves in black, but it's just giving that, again, that little bit of contrast in between. But I did decide I wanted to lighten down those dots a little bit, so I'm just going around with really scribbly lines around all the dots, and I really like that hand-drawn mark making over the top. Super simple for those people who are scared of mark making, because you're just drawing around what's there, and if you go over the lines, who cares, because that's how it's supposed to look. So really, really easy. I've found when I'm doing stuff like this, go around twice. So if you do have wobbly lines, it looks like you've got deliberately wobbly lines. If you do it once, it may look like you've got a mistake. If you do it twice, it looks deliberate. Weird thinking, I know, but that's how the world works. So you can see my little tin here. This is a tin, it's the old Tim Holtz, where he had the distressed crayons. I've got them in a little pot. So I've kept the tins, and they've been really handy to put stuff in. And so I've cut out all my transparencies from this focal set too. And I'm just popped them in there. It means I can go through and just grab stuff really, really quick. So this is one of the images. Obviously you can cut these out individually, but I've decided to keep the three girls together so they can go onto the one page. And I'm just adding a little bit of paint pen to them to add a little extra detail. I've stuck them on top of some of the ledger paper, and then I've stuck them onto my art deck. So like really, really super simple. Next one I am doing, I've got this sort of crazy brain, everything's going mad in the background, so I've placed him onto my page, and I'm using the scrap of ledger paper just to ground the image, because otherwise it would be flying in the air and floating in the air, sorry, and it wouldn't quite make sense. So the same with this one, going to do the same. And I had a little bit I chopped off, so instead of wasting it, I'm just going to add it to the top of my card, just to add some extra lines coming off. So again, I could have finished off his body to make him grounded, to connect him to the edge, but I'm using that trick of doing the ledger paper across the middle as well. Then I have got this gorgeous woman. She's one of my favorites. I think I really love her face. And then I'm putting on the bird. Now with the bird, it really did get lost because it's kind of sitting on top of black, so I decided to put some white paint behind it. You could obviously colour it any colour you wanted and have those colours coming through. I also decided to add a little bit of yellow to her hair, again just to help pop it out a little bit, because it's kind of sitting on that black. So it just helps sort of bring it out from the background. I'm using my paint pens. Obviously you can use your acrylic paint to do that over the top, so just grab a brush and brush it on or sponge it on to fill into the background. So then I've got my 4 cards there. So I went through and grabbed some quotes. These are by Mylene Quotes, just stickers I can just quickly stick on. Again, anything I can do to make my life a little bit easier I find really, really helpful. This one, because the Dare to Dream was sort of coming off the bottom, it needed to be, again, have that ledger paper around it, so I added a little bit more to the bottom. And then with the lady over here, I was really, really struggling to pop something on. In reality, I probably should have used some ledger paper on this too, just to have consistency between my pages. So in the final series as we go through, you'll notice I added some more to my master images. So I've got the white lines around it. I've added on some quotes as well. Each one of them has a quote, and quite often with all my HCCs, I will have a quote on there in some way, shape or form. So lots and lots of fun. This one I stamped in the background and did the squiggly lines over the background, and same with this one as well. Add a little bit of washi for a height. I always love to add a height to a abstract figure. It's just something I tend to do with it all. So I hope you have your own go at making a deck of cards to inspire you. They are so much fun. They're great to give away or even stick on card fronts if you're lost for something to do. They're just really handy to have around and something quick and easy you can create. Until next time, bye for now.